You found Rebirth, real life stories of what happens when you let go and let life lead. This podcast became a book in fall of 2022, leading number one thought and new release on its birthday. You can find it online or at your favorite bookseller. If you like this episode, please hit subscribe, share, and if you're feeling that holiday spirit, leave us a beautiful recommendation on Apple so more people like you can be uplifted. Hey you, thanks for tuning into the Rebirth podcast. This episode is happening on November 30th, and I just saw the Spotify Wrapped, which was kind of fun, actually. We have really grown this past year, and so I want to thank all of you for sharing and liking and leaving comments. We've gotten into 3 new countries. Our readership and subscription has gone up 2 different categories, but one is 200%, one is 180%, and I know statistics are very shady, but it feels really good to see those numbers because if you're listening to this episode, you've been here for a while. You've been here through Rebirth and all of her iterations. And this podcast, the name of it has so many layers to it because it was something was born in a moment of time that I was going through the understanding what birth was. And then it had its own iteration. And then there was even an iteration when I started doing mini episodes. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I wanted to tell you that I appreciate you being here. And I thought maybe I should even just read to you a little bit from the book that was birthed because of you. Okay, so settle in. I'll do a little reading and then I'll send you on your merry way. Okay, so this is from the chapter called Serendipity Arrives and Tools to Greet Her, which is the chapter that is about my publisher and a friend who I met in 2008. She called me on the phone. Okay, here is page 114 because I was an English teacher, so proper citations are important. Okay. I remember answering her call when I had just parallel parked my car. I answered spontaneously, a little surprised to see her name. You're what? And yes, I'm interested, were my unfettered responses. Part of me was clear that if you wanted to write and someone you know calls you and says they want to publish you, you say yes. At the time, I only had a little thing written. I talked about writing a lot. I had fits and starts and scads of notebooks and oodles of projects sitting in Word documents never seen. I taught English for 10 years. I climbed trees to read books as a child. I have kept a journal my whole life, including my first one at 6, where I chronicled a life of cartoons and siblings. It had Lucy from Peanuts on the front yelling, "Stay out," and it had a lock. I loved writing. My whole life people said I would write a book. I thought it would be great. Someday, when I was ready. But here I was, my small babe asleep in his car seat, standing on a busy side street, listening to this woman talk to me about lawyers and founders and mission statements and talent and wanting to select voices that would make a difference. And she knew my writing would. Would you like to be one of our authors, Kate? Her voice pierced through to the present moment. I remember looking at my sleeping child in his car seat and then looking up to a corner in my mind, a place where I go to check in with myself, and I heard myself say, "Yes, of course." I told no one. I sat with the reality and the fantasy that this conversation might have actually happened. The mini book, as I referred to it, was called Start Now, Love, a guidebook to birthing your passions and staying on the creative path, as inspired by being a self-employed and in the healing arts as myself. It is not, by the way, the book that got published. That was Rebirth. Real-life stories about what happens when you let go and let life lead. You can get this book at any of your community bookstores, Thrift Books, Amazon, BookBub. Yeah. And it all started because I answered a phone call twice. First from a friend that told me I should start a podcast. Second from a friend that told me she wanted to give me a book contract. And here we are. It's the end of 2022, and we're still sitting here together in the ethers. So if you got a phone call today and you're not sure how you're going to do it, I hope you said yes. If the phone call's coming tomorrow, say yes to that one. Okay? We are here together. You might not think it, but if you're in your car listening or if you have me on while you're cooking dinner, we can connect and start making it easier and easier for people to let go and let life lead. Thanks for tuning in. See you back here real soon. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us on the Rebirth Podcast. Can I ask a favor? Would you hit like and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast? It would really help me get the word out. I appreciate it. See you back here for our next episode.